You're going into a world that is full of promise, but also full of challenges. Many of the values that have made the world a peaceful and happy place are under threat. And for those of you working in and on Africa, it is important to recognize the grave existential threat facing the continent. Recently, the US President Donald Trump asked 4 US congresswomen to return to the country, to the filthy, crime-infested countries they came from. The UK has just had a new Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, who is on record as having said that Islam is responsible for the backwardness of Muslim nations. Both statements have been widely condemned, and rightfully so, as racist and inappropriate. Mr. Johnson's article displayed a superficial understanding of Islam. But beyond the anger and indignation, it is time to reflect. In his introduction to Frantz Fanon's The Wretched of the Earth, Jean-Paul Sartre noted that in the colonies, the truth stood naked, but in the fatherland, they preferred it clothed in robes. Let us assume, as Africans and as Muslims, that we locked ourselves in a room with no Americans or Europeans looking in and spoke to ourselves the naked truth. Are many parts of the countries in Africa not filthy and crime-infested? Is Africa not projected to have 85% of all those living in extreme poverty in the world by 2050? Have the African elite who took over from the colonizers and settlers not done more damage to the poor in their countries through corruption and bad policies than the imperialists? Have some Muslims not refused to acknowledge that Muslim law is situated in time and space, and certain elements of 13th century jurisprudence need updating in the 21st century? Has the refusal not led to violent extremism, domestic violence, gender injustice, and general marginalization of women? And finally, are we, the African elite, not now the new settler, those who seek to disguise the truth and have it sugar-coated? Do we not prefer sycophants who tell us that all is well, that we are the blessing to the continent, that the beautiful African sun shines out of our backs, while the children die of malnutrition, mothers die in childbirth, millions are on the streets, out of school, and without a future? Is this, or is this not, the naked truth of Sartre? We always blame the victims. When we do not build schools, we say the poor do not want to educate their girls. But the truth is one. The poor people of Africa are not responsible for their poverty. We are responsible. If this is true, then you know what you have to do. You have no choice. You are the future, and the future is in your hands. Step out, take control of it, change it, and stop waiting for us to do it for you. Because sadly, we have failed. The good news is that change is possible. We do have a number of good examples. Rwanda, Botswana, Ethiopia, a few other countries on their way, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Kenya, Morocco. These have to varying degrees shown an appreciation of the need for sound economic policy and sound social policies and investment in human capital. There's also room for great impact. 3 countries in Africa, Nigeria, South Africa, and Egypt, together account for 50% of Africa's GDP. Getting these countries right will go a long way towards averting the future that we now project. So having thus painted this rosy picture of the world that awaits you, let me congratulate you once more, and let me thank all those who have come here to honor me. I thank SOAS, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.